Welcome to the Marketing and Mindset Podcast, where we share expert tips for the mind, body, and soul to help your business thrive. Tune in for free marketing or mindset expert training to boost your business. Welcome to Marketing and Mindset. I am so excited to have you guys here again, listening to a whole new episode where we're going to share some good information with you guys. Today, I have Jen Sulak, and she is a wedding photographer, and is going to be talking to us about how your niche needs you. I love this topic. We've talked about this before, but it's really something that I think a lot of business owners need to hear about, and very important for businesses. So I'm very, very excited to hear more. So Jen, go ahead. Oh, and let me introduce myself. I'm Vanessa Cooper. I'm a Pinterest marketing expert and content creator, and I host the Marketing Mindset podcast. Usually my co-host Connie is with me, and she's going to be with us soon, but today it's just me and Jen. So Jen, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, what you do, what your business is, and sort of how you got started.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see you today. So, my name is Jen, of course, as she said. I am a wedding photographer and conceptual artist. My newest brand, my newest niche is weirdo weddings, which is a very specific thing that I'm putting a call out to all my people. But I've been pink light images for like 16 years. So, um, what got me started in photography was a very interesting journey because I had a lot of people that were kind of like looking at how I captured the world, and they were making comments about how it looked really cool and interesting, and that I had like this creative gift. And I didn't believe them at first. So I was like, I'm not really sure, about this. So I ended up taking a lot of classes and learning a lot of different lighting techniques, and just kind of jumping into it in the hopes that I'd learn so much more about it and be able to like get what was in my head out into a photograph. So as I started taking all these classes, I was like, you know what? I could really do this as a business. And I know a lot of people that have needs out there for, portraits and headshots and wedding days and events and still life and all these wonderful things that photographers dive into when they're first starting out, right? And so, after I started my business, it was then I kinda, like, did it backwards. I started a business, and then I started learning my camera better.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think really learning the tools was what interesting for me, but the passion that kept me moving forward is that, when I got married, I didn't know I could do photography as a business. This was, like, 18 years ago, and I had no idea, and I didn't hire anybody for my wedding, so I got a whole 24 film images back, and now that I know what it's like to have a wedding day captured in totality of the digital world, I would have wanted start to finish photojournalistic, tell my entire story,
Yeah.
not just in 24 images. So I realized that once I started, and this is kind of like our topic, once I started niching down what I was passionate about, it kind of led me into wedding photography and the craziness that are these wild events that people put on to like showcase their love. And so that's kind of like how I came into photography, but also started to niche down into things that I loved. Is That's the quick story version of it.
Right.
But I wanted to give back to couples what I didn't have, and that's what I'm continuing to do now.
Well, that's awesome, man. And wedding photography, it's so like powerful because it's really such an important day, With my wedding, I honestly underestimated the importance of investing in a good photographer, and
Mhm.
unfortunately did not get a good photographer for my wedding. And although my pictures that I did get were brilliant, the ones I got a lot, I just didn't get on my pictures. There were so many things missing. So it's really something that can just mean so much to the people that you work for. But I think that's awesome how you capture that day. I'd be a horrible wedding photographer because I literally cry like when I watch a TV wedding of people I don't know. So I would just be bawling the whole time. Like I couldn't handle it. But okay, so we're
I love
talking
it.
about niching down. The topic's how your niche needs you. So for anyone who's listening and they might be new business owners, or maybe they've heard this term, but they're not exactly sure what it means. What does it mean to niche down? Just a general explanation of what that means.
Sure. How I see it, I'm going to say how my definition is because we can all see and say things differently, right? I believe niching down is literally kind of like zero focusing in on one thing that you know that you could just rocket out backwards, forwards, sideways, front ways, and that you're continually passionate about it. Um, and it's really like especially in photography, because there's like 20 different realms of photography. And if you decide to, like, let's say, niche down into only two,
Right.
that's what it looks like to niche down. No matter what you do in your business, I feel like there's a way to niche down. You can niche
Yeah.
down the clientele you work with. You can niche down your area of art and expertise. For me, it was niching down the kind of photography that I wanted to do and
Right.
really just kind of put a laser focus into that specific niche. That way I could communicate better in that niche what I'm actually doing, instead of saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do your family. Hey, I'm gonna do maternity. Hey, I'm gonna do your product. Hey, I'm gonna
Right.
do your branding shots." Do you know how many like terminologies we have now for photography?
Yes.
So, and I feel like when we're communicating with this world now, that the whole world is our oyster now. Like, the internet and the online world has opened up all of us for new customers and clients across our country,
Right.
across into the world.
Yep.
So niching down really just helps you zero in on your message of what you're really passionate about and something that you won't get burned out on. And I think it's really important to also think about, if you're niching down, you might want to make a decision if this is going to be something you'll be happy doing, like, consistently. It doesn't mean you
Right.
can't change your mind, but I think it's powerful to niche down, just because if you really, really enjoy something, then you might as well just niche down and enjoy that for a while. And if you get tired of it, you can make a decision to maybe have a offshoot of something, like
Right.
how we have spin-offs, right? We have spin-offs of TV series where we like this one character and then we go focus on this one character for a while. So that's
Yes.
another way to look at it too, is like, there's the whole show, but here's this one character that we just really love and we want to kind of niche down and like really dig into that.
Yes, that's good. That's a good way of explaining it. And, and I did that with my business. I actually kind of shifted my whole business. I wanted to do copywriting and just add Pinterest marketing
Oh, wow.
as a service that I offered. And I ended up niching down to Pinterest marketing, because I saw the need for that. Plus, I love Pinterest,
Yeah.
and just niche to that. And then, when I talked about niching down even more, like you said, it's could be what you offer. It could be your audience. I know a lot of Pinterest marketers who just work with a particular audience.
Yep. Mhm.
And I decided not to niche down my audience, but just niche down what I do. So I work with all kinds of people, from spiritual healers to big brand fashion companies, just like, and I love it because I get to learn as I go with all the different businesses. But yes, but that's such a great explanation of what it is. So let's
Yeah.
talk into the benefits. Like, are there any
Yes.
pros and cons? Are there, I guess, one, pros and cons of niching down, and if it's something that you feel every business should do, whether it's an e-commerce business, like maybe who they target specifically, or if they just stick to one type of product and that's how they niche down, or service-based businesses, if they should specialize in something like I did Pinterest, or photographers, are there any businesses where you might say, no, let's not niche down, or you think that everyone could benefit from it? That was a long question.
That's a really long question. I'm gonna have to rewind so I can replay it. No, I think I'll try to answer it as best I can and how I heard it. I think it has benefits for everyone, but because I cannot speak to every single business out there in the world because there's way too many, I think there is benefits in zeroing in on something you want to do, whatever service it is, whatever product it is. There are many benefits to just zeroing in and focusing in on it, because we have only so much time in the day, right? And I feel like niching also helps you refine your time management. So instead of like trying to market to 20 to 30 different things, you're you're picking your top 2 to 3 to focus on. Not saying you can't do that all week long, but I don't want to spend my entire life behind my computer screen or my phone. So it's like, I want to niching down really does help you get to your audience faster, if
Right.
that makes sense. I look at it, not only is it a laser focus on what you're offering, but a laser focus into finding your clients and them finding you quickly.
Right.
Especially if you communicate it the way you need to, and they'll start finding you. Like Pinterest is a great example. Like, if you're zero focused in on one thing and you type that one thing in and somebody's like Googling or searching for, I need this thing, and
Right.
your marketing comes up, bam, you've
Yep.
spoken to your client, you've niched down your terminology, and they can find you very easily through that niche.
Right. Yeah. No,
So
that's
that's,
true.
yeah.
No, I love that. And it's funny you mentioned that because and like I had said, initially with my business, I niche down my services. But I didn't niche down my clients. And now that I work with so many different clients, and it's been years now, I'm starting to like working with a particular client more than the others. Like I've actually been thinking like maybe I can niche down even more and add that to my title. I really like working with big e-commerce businesses. I just like it. And so I think, I've been thinking like maybe I should niche down to that. But yeah, it is, it is easier for people to find you when they're specifically looking for that one thing, and you come up. I love that at all. Would you
So,
say
and
there's oh, go ahead,
I,
go ahead.
I was going to say, yes, there is a con that I see
You
in
read
my
my mind.
experience. And this is going to get really real really quickly because as business owners, as much as we'd like to remove emotion from our businesses, we're passionate about what we do. So what I feel a con can be is that in some areas and some services and products, you will feel very alone. And you'll feel so niche down that you can't relate to anybody sometimes. And I'm speaking specifically to the wedding industry, like, and being in around the wedding, other wedding photographers and other wedding professionals. I feel like I'm not going to be working with them as a team as much because I'm so niche down that my clients don't use certain services that other wedding pros offer. So I feel like I don't have that camaraderie and that my coworkers, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like sometimes it gets very lonely for those of us who niche down and are trying something really brave and really new
Hmm.
that serves a specific niche that you just may not get to work with everybody that you think you do.
Right.
Um, so that's the one con that I have. It's not going to mean a con does not mean don't do it. Okay. A con
Right.
just means there is always going to be a price to pay for doing something brave and stepping out and leaping in faith, honestly. Um, I think there's going to be some challenges. And I think if you don't have challenges at all, then I would dare to ask you, are you dreaming big enough at this point? Are you
Right.
pushing yourself enough to maybe niche down when you've been putting it off, when maybe something is calling you to just go ahead and just like zero focus in into something. Um, so yeah, it's hard out there. And I don't think
Yeah.
we acknowledge that enough at how hard this can be to run a business, but also how empowering it is
Yes.
to run your business, right?
Right.
It's so much
Yeah.
fun.
I mean, there's pros and cons to anything. We can talk about the pros and
Anything,
cons of just owning your own business,
anything. Yes.
So it's true. And it's all about risk and reward, and it's really seeing the big picture. But I love what you said, which is like a little off topic, but it's so good
Yes.
about like if you're not taking risks and you're not pushing yourself and being uncomfortable, are you really like trying to grow your business? Like you really do need to kind of step outside your comfort zone, which is like a whole nother conversation that we could certainly
Yeah, that's
have.
just like it's in addition to that's the steps to niche down. If you're listening and you need to niche down, that's like step number 1 is get out of your own way.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And then something else. Oh gosh, I had a new question that came up. One of the challenges I think that some people, I don't know how my brain actually remembered it so quickly. I'm impressed.
Yay.
But one of the challenges that I remember when I first decided to niche down, I was really nervous about my audience size. So, initially, it was just like this service and this service. And I was almost
Mhm.
like just like a virtual assistant. I'm like, I'll do anything, like I just want to work from home and run my own business, So I was kind of like, I'll do anything. When I decided to niche down and just offer Pinterest marketing, I had to think like, okay, if I'm offering less, then there's less people that could use me for their business. And so that made me really nervous. So maybe what's something that, you can tell people who are afraid that their audience size is going to get smaller, their potential clients if they niche down. And then also I'll ask the other question afterwards because I asked like
I
5
was gonna
questions
say.
in one.
I love it though. I love this conversation. Um, I think, um, I see I lost my train of thought too. Like I need the question again.
Oh no, you're okay. You're okay. It is for the people who are afraid to niche down because they're afraid their audience is also going to get
Okay.
smaller. Like what's some advice you can give them or words of encouragement or anything like that to where they're not too nervous about it?
Absolutely. So this is niching down. That's a great question. That is a great insight to remember. As you're niching down, your clientele will shrink just a little bit, but because it's more focused, you're able to also kind of move in and out with pricing options, and you're also, you have to know ahead of time that niching literally means there's going to be a smaller crowd, honestly. Even within what I do as a photographer, the wedding market in general is still a niche within a niche, and then you go into photography and you niche down again. When you go into
Right.
specialized photography, you're niching down again. So we're talking about inception here. There's at least 3 to 4 levels down that you might go into your niche. That means that you're zeroing in on your clients. Your goals may look differently when you niche down. You may only want to take on 12 to 15 clients in a year, but those will be specifically targeted, make you happy, um, kinds of clients that are paying you what you're worth, and they love what you do and they love you. And I think
Right.
it's totally worth it. But to remember that though, if you go into it knowing that your schedule may change a little bit, and there's nobody that can prepare you for it, you're just gonna have to walk through it. Let's just
Right.
be honest. Nobody, you can prepare yourself as so much, but if you prepare yourself in your mind, I know this is a marketing and mindset. So this really is a mindset shift for y'all. You're going to have to realize there will be fewer people that you're going to be working with. And
Right.
it's actually okay. That
Yeah.
does not mean it's failure. Well, actually, it's success. It's the opposite. You've defined your business, you're walking in your niche, and the success comes as you are building out your clientele in that niche. I think it's a super awesome way to look at it and walk into it completely open eyed. Don't try to be in denial. But
Right.
understand that there's things that are going to happen that you're going to have to address, and you're going to have to mentally address, and look at your calendar, and say like, okay, this is happening this week and I have these clients I got to take care of. It's
Right.
really that simple. It doesn't mean it's going to look differently for everybody though. I feel like everybody's going to have a different way to approach it. I'm just only sharing my experience on how I have approached it, and because I'm very emotional and I get wrapped up in sentimentality and emotion. I had to like literally physically make a shift in my mind.
Right. Yeah.
Like, hey Jen, you're doing this really cool thing, but understand that you're at least four niche levels down, and it's okay.
Right. No, you do. You do. You really do have to change your mindset, because then that's what I did when I decided to niche down. And that was really my fear, was like my audience is going to get smaller. My potential
Yeah.
clientele is
It's
going to
a
get
real
smaller.
fear. It's
It
a real
is.
fear.
But and you touched on this, and so we'll talk about it. What I knew that if I became an expert in just Pinterest, and I
Mhm.
zeroed in on that, and I learned that, and I got training on that, and I practiced that and worked with that to where I could confidently say, this is what I do, and I'm an expert at it, that I could charge more. So there was some comfort in that. I'm like, okay, if I niche down, I can charge more, like I can get more for my buck because now I'm more valuable in my niche. And so, I think that's one of the pros too with
It's
niching
definitely a
down.
pro. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think, I mean, it's not so much a question, but I think it's a fact that we know that if you niche down, you become more valuable in a sense because become an expert in that specifically. But for anyone who decides, or they're too scared, or they're worried, or they just, don't want to do it, can you be successful if you don't niche down at all? If you decide to be, whether you're a photographer, period, for all the kinds of people, and all kinds of photography, or you decide you want to offer all kinds of different services, can you still be successful without niching down?
I love this question because this is where I make y'all do the work. You have to define your own success.
Mm,
And if your success is doing all of the things and you thrive in that, go do all of the things and make your business work for you. And make sure your business doesn't work you. You know what I mean? Don't get the
yes.
burnout and overwhelm. But I feel like success is defined individually for each of us. And so whether you niche down or not, that's totally up to you. We get to make choices all the time. And
Right.
some people just don't have a choice. Sometimes you have to take on all the jobs in a period of time where you're trying to pay the bills and you're trying to make things work. There's nothing wrong with that either. That does not make you less successful. What
That's
makes you
right.
successful is, are you being who you are supposed to be?
Right.
Are you doing the things that you're supposed to do? Are you serving the people you're supposed to serve? That to me is success. And that's how I've continued to define it as I'm going forward in my life. Like, I'm 16, 17 years into photography. And I'm like, I'm more happier than I've ever been because I've defined that success.
That's awesome. That's such a good answer because you're
Yeah.
100% right, Success is what you make it. And
Hmm.
so really it's entirely up to you. If you're not happy with what you're doing, then that's a red flag that you need to do something different. So I absolutely love it. Um
Absolutely.
and then back to the main topic. Now that we've talked all about niching down. How does your niche need you? I know you mentioned you're going to talk about that and I was like, how
Yes.
exactly does your niche need you? Explain to us what that even means.
Yes. So when I was thinking about this topic, this is from the last 3 years of my life. It is going to get a little heady for a second, a little heart heavy, a little head heavy, because what we don't realize is that sometimes things are waiting for us that we're too scared to step into. And for me, my niche has been waiting on me for years, and I have never stepped up to speak to them. I've never put a name on it. I've been serving people, but I feel like stepping into your niche actually needs you more than you need them. Like they're waiting on you. They're
Right.
waiting to find you. And I think that was my biggest revelation over the last 3 years. When I said weirdo weddings aloud, I was like, my weirdos are looking for me. And as
Yes.
soon as I said it out loud and I started telling people, do you know how exciting it was to tell people and have their face light up saying, "Oh my God, I feel seen, I feel heard. Oh my gosh, like you're doing exactly what I want. You're like this beacon of light that I needed to find this. We need this in this world." What I mean by your niche needs you is like as much as you'd like to stay scared and in your own shell, part of the journey of your passion is to step out into these things that are already waiting for you. And
Yeah.
all I did was step out and put a name to it, and but it was such a big move, y'all. Such a big move. But I realized how quickly my niche needed me and how I started talking to them and they're talking back to me and we're having conversations, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that is really what I meant by that is they're waiting on us to step
Yeah.
up. It's not that we have to have them, but it's like they're waiting on us. They're literally waiting to call us on the phone and do a text message or get online with us because we've defined who we want to talk to, who we want to work with. And
Absolutely.
it's the most wonderful feeling to know that you've stepped up to serve the people that have been looking for you for a long time and they're just waiting on you.
That's
That's really all it
awesome.
is.
That's so
That's really all it
awesome.
is.
I
It
honestly
is.
didn't even think about that. And it's so true. And I love your
Yes.
business and I love that the weirdo weddings. If my husband was a little bit weirder, we probably could have used you, but I'm the total weirdo and he's like so normal compared to me. It's not even funny.
That's
We're complete
very
opposites.
cute.
Complete opposites. But I love that. That's such a good answer, and for anyone who's like really still nervous about niching down and still unsure,
Yeah.
like when I decided to do it, I decided to do it one because I saw the need for Pinterest marketing, and I was nervous, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna offer this, and then it was like that. The people in need for my expertise just flooded in, and my business grew rapidly because like it just grew. We're like, oh my gosh, you're an expert, So it's really true, that they're out there, that your niche needs you. So definitely it's worth stepping into and being brave and niching down and finding your people.
Absolutely.
Um, with that being said, go ahead and let us know where people can find you. And if you have any links or anything that you can share with us, I'll be putting those in the show notes. And let the audience know what that's going to be.
So y'all, really what I'm looking for and what I'm looking forward to is to connecting with you all. And my website is my main mothership of contact for right now, weirdoweddings.com or pinklightimages.com. It'll kind of take you all to my mothership of information, but you can also find me hiding online. No, just kidding. I'm actually online all the time at my same tags at Weirdo Weddings or at Pinklight Weddings. If you want to see some of my weird conceptual stuff, that is on Pink Light Images official. So you can find me at all these different places. Ask questions. Let's start a conversation. And hey, if you're a weirdo out there needing your wedding captured, that is me. I'm your weirdo wedding photographer. But I'm so easy to find, and I really look forward to connecting with some of you. That'd be so great to connect with you.
That's awesome. And just while I have you, and you mentioned your business and we're talking, do you travel to do your weirdo photography, or are you just locally?
I absolutely do. That's kind of worked into my niche as well. Anywhere from 1 to 3 times a year, I'm traveling somewhere, and if I happen to be in your city, like, I try to do a call, like, say if I'm going to Denver this summer, I try to do a call out to who's in the city who might need some services while I'm there.
Oh,
This happened
awesome.
last year in New York City. I said, "Hey, I'm coming to New York City." Guess what? My friend Joe decided to run off and marry his bride,
Oh,
and brought me in as the photographer. So at any point, I could be traveling to you, and all I need to do is, like, you need to find me, I need to find you, and then we can work, we could work together.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's so great. Well, thank you so much for coming on here and talking with me. It was such a pleasure. I really love this
I
conversation.
know.
Such a good conversation to talk about for business owners. And I think a lot of people really don't think too much about niching down, or it's, they just don't see the importance of it. So I really love that we got to talk about how important it could
Yay.
be and how it can, help your business. But at the same time, you could be successful depending on how
Mhm.
you define success. So such a good conversation. Thank you so much for being here today, Jen. And thank you guys for listening. It was such a pleasure. As always, we'll be here talking marketing or mindset with guest speaker the next time you guys tune in. I'm Vanessa Cooper, and this was the Marketing and Mindset Podcast. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.